Welcome back to the Puddin' Creek Rod Shop. Now, as you join us today, little brother and I, we have loaded up in a truck and we've already driven 45 minutes away from home, and where we are headed is to a crazy estate sale. You see down here in this little garage behind the house, the guy evidently had a full machine shop. This little shop is supposed to be full of machines and tools, but the reason we're here 1 hour early, and probably the reason all these guys were here even before we were, is because inside this building there is an antique oak Gerstner machinist toolbox, the top box, and also the really rare oak matching roll-around cabinet. I can't even begin to tell you guys how important a Gerstner toolbox is in machine shop culture. You know, if you're working in a mechanic shop and you have a snap-on toolbox, that's a pretty cool thing. That's a lot cooler than having a Craftsman toolbox. And if you work in a machine shop or as a tool maker or a pattern maker and you have a Kennedy toolbox, that's okay. That's pretty common and pretty normal. But if you have a Gerstner toolbox, I mean, that's on a whole nother level. You see, a Gerstner toolbox is an heirloom quality toolbox. These toolboxes are handed down from fathers to sons and from grandfathers to grandsons, and are sold from retiring master machinists to journeyman machinists. A Gerstner toolbox is a big, big deal. Harry Gerstner was born in 1884. Now, just to give you a little bit of an idea of the era of America that Harry was born into, at that time the Statue of Liberty was finished in France, but it was awaiting shipment to New York. Also, electric lighting had been invented, but it was really still just a novelty. In 1884, skilled tradesmen were busy building our country. At that time, craftsmanship mattered and quality mattered. That was the time that Harry was born into. In 1906, Harry had founded his company, H. Gerstner and Sons, and he sold his first toolbox for $6. Now, I'd buy an 18-wheeler truckload of them for $6 a piece. If you walk into a machine shop that you've never been in before, and you look around and you see the one old machinist with a Gerstner toolbox, and it's usually an older guy that has one, you don't really feel jealous that he has a Gerstner and you don't. It's not really that type of feeling. More of the feeling you feel is respect. It's a respectful type thing because it takes a long time. You have to work a lot of years to be able to afford one of these toolboxes. They're so expensive. And also, you kind of have to earn the right to have a Gerstner. If you're just a beginner machinist or an apprentice machinist, people would kind of look down on you for having a Gerstner because you really didn't earn it. You hadn't worked long enough to earn a Gerstner. It's like walking around Bonneville and you see someone wearing one of those red 200-mile-per-hour club hats. You don't really feel jealous that he has a red hat and you don't. You feel a sense of respect that he broke a record and he got in the club. All right, back to why we're at this estate sale. Supposedly inside this little shop building, there is a Gerstner top box, and I've seen several of those through my careers. I've seen a lot of guys with a Gerstner top box, but there's also supposed to be a Gerstner roll-around. Now, my whole machinist career, I have never ever seen a Gerstner roll-around cabinet in person. I've seen the top boxes, I've seen one or two of the middle risers or middle boxes, but I've never seen anybody that had a roll-around. And this is probably the reason why. Look at the price tag on these things. Now, these guys that are here 1 hour early, like me, They're the hardcores. They're on a mission. They're not casual estate sale guys. Those people will show up 5 minutes before the doors open. These guys are here early enough that when those two garage doors come open, there's going to be nobody standing in the way for them to run in and grab the bargains. And while I'm standing out here with them, they're just telling stories about all the fights they've got in at previous estate sales. One guy was telling a story about being at an estate sale and he sees a set of deer antlers and he picks one up to look at it, and just an instant later another guy runs over and grabs the other one. Well, the other one's the one with the price tag on it. The first guy says, "Hey, I'm buying these deer antlers," and the other guy says, "Oh, no, you're not. I got the one with the price tag on it." It was a 10-minute story, but the short version is they're both at this estate sale, and each one of them's got a deer antler reared back at the other, and they're about to go at it with deer antlers. So I tell little brother, by 5 minutes till 11, there'll probably be 30 more people here, and when they open those two garage doors, it's going to be a complete feeding frenzy. Now, we got to get a plan together. So here's what we're going to do. Right before 11 o'clock, you make sure you're positioned in front of the left garage door, and I'll be positioned in front of the right garage door, and when they open those two doors at 11 o'clock, whichever one of us is closer to that Gerstner toolbox, run to it and pull the price tag off of it, because once you have the price tag in your hand, it's hard for anyone else to claim that they bought it first. Then I told him if that doesn't work and someone starts arguing with you that they bought the toolbox first, look around for a deer antler. So sure enough, 11 o'clock comes and there must be 35 or 40 people standing outside these garage doors, but me and little brother, we're at the front of the line, and as soon as they sling those garage doors open, now here's where you guys got to bear with me a little bit. You see, the little woman was working that day, so she wasn't there to film, and little brother and I, we're just trying to get this toolbox before these other gorillas get to it, so there's a lot of missing footage here. You just have to bear with me. Now, I thought all the toolboxes were going to be parked right down the middle section of this shop between the two garage doors, but when they slung those two doors open, there was a milling machine there instead. I looked off to my right, and there was the row of toolboxes. The only problem was I was on the back side of a whole row of toolboxes. I was actually the first one through the door, but I was on the back side of the row of toolboxes. Everyone else was going down the aisle on the front side of the row of toolboxes. I was like the prison escapee who dug a tunnel but didn't dig far enough and popped up inside the fence. So I had to act fast. There was no time for me to run back outside the garage door and down the front aisle of the row of toolboxes where the price tag would be. There was no time for that. Just as I reached the back side of the Gerstner toolbox, I looked up and I noticed that the deer antler fighters, they were about 4 steps behind me on the other side. So I did the only thing I could do. I grabbed the handle of the roll-around on the Gerstner toolbox and I jerked it out of its line of toolboxes out of the row. I jerked it around to where the front of it was facing me. I jerked it completely out of the line. If the casters had been locked on it, I probably would have turned the whole thing over because I didn't even try. I just grabbed it and jerked. When I get the toolbox jerked out of its line and it's facing me, just so happens the price tag is staring me right in the face. $400. And I'm thinking, good googly moogly, what a bargain, $400. So I start trying to get the price tag off as fast as possible so I don't have to fight these deer antler fighters over this toolbox. But usually at an estate sale, the price is put on with a piece of painter's tape. You can just jerk it off. This price was actually put on with a pricing gun. So as I'm trying to peel it off, it's coming off in pieces. Now, your old buddy Puddin' Creek's heart's beating about 90 miles an hour from all the excitement and fun, and it's about that time that I feel somebody invading my personal space. I feel somebody pressing right up against me, and it's not one of the deer antler fighters. It's a little old lady, but she's about as tall as I am, and she's got her face almost pressed right against my beard. I can almost feel her whiskers against my whiskers. Anyway, as I'm trying to get this price tag off, she says in a real high, screechy voice, "What's the price?" Now, with all the excitement, my brain wasn't working just quite right, and what came out of my mouth was not what my brain was thinking. My brain was thinking, "Lady, I'm buying this," but what I said was, "I'm taking the price tag off of it." which elicited her response of, "Well, what's it say? What's the price on it?" So now I'm starting to get a little scared. I'm almost thinking I'd rather fight one of the deer antler fighters as somebody's crazy mamaw. So to de-escalate the situation so I don't get hit in the head with a purse, I said real nice and real sweet, $400. The price says $400. In response, she says, "Are you buying it? Are you going to buy it?" Now, it was just at that exact instant that I was able to get the whole price tag off, and I said to her, "I just bought it." So little brother and I, we drag it out into the grass just so there won't be no misunderstandings about it being sold, and we notice that it's awful heavy. It's either full of tools or full of metal. It's full of something, but we don't take time to check it out. We head back in to see if there's any other bargains we might be missing.
I don't know if I grab it and say, yeah, I'm sorry.
I'm looking at this huge fat one. I just got
Keep it up. What was that? What was that thing?
We need these.
I was telling you I looked at
Now, if you're wondering what this contraption is, this is a rotary phase converter. The little motor on top is just a starter motor. That starts the big motor spinning. Once you get the big motor spinning at full speed, you turn the little motor off. And then the bottom motor, the bigger motor, that's set up to generate the third leg of three-phase. So you would take a three-phase service panel, which has 3 legs, and you'd run the wire coming out of this rotary phase converter to one of those legs, and then your other 2 leads, your regular single-phase leads coming into your house or your shop, to the other 2 legs, and then you've got 3-phase power. Now you can buy rotary phase converters, or you can just build your own out of a surplus 3-phase motor, the big one on the bottom, and a little single-phase motor on top to get it started turning. They're very easy to build. Space-time physics? What was this guy building in this machine shop? A time machine? I guess if you're going to build a time machine, you're going to need a set of trig tables and a slide rule. Probably 2 slide rules if you're going to build a time machine. Department of Energy? This guy was definitely working on some kind of top secret project. Boy, I tell you what, this estate sale business sure is hard work. We better ease on in here and refuel for the trip home. Now, friends and neighbors, it was right here that my brother said the oddest thing. He says to me, "Where is the brass tag on the drawer that says Gerstner and Sons? I don't see a brass tag." And I said, it probably fell off. Or maybe this is one of the early models that didn't have a brass tag. And he says to me, "Are you sure this is even a Gerstner?" And I said, get out of here with that nonsense. Let's get this unloaded. Now, boys, like I've told you before, the little woman is strong as a bear, but just a small bear.
It's all full of tools. How you like it? This woman, just as I was tearing the sticker off of it, she ran up to me, she said, she got right in my face, like right here, and she said, "How much is it?" And I was taking the sticker off. She said, "What's a sticker? What's a sticker say?" But Mike says it's not a Gerstner. It's awful old, though.
It looks
It should
handmade, but I don't.
should have a nameplate right here, and I don't see the holes for the nameplate.
It's too generic to me.
And there should be one right here too. See one on that drawer right there, a brass nameplate. I don't see one, do you?
Doesn't look like it's in there.
Did you say you take a drawer out and it's under
The bottom drawer.
this one?
Yep. Take it out and it should be underneath it.
Oh, underneath the drawer.
Yeah, right there. It's supposed to say Gerstner and Sons inside. Don't say nothing?
No.
Yep. This is probably not a Gerstner. Let's see, is anything under the drawer?
It's like kitchen paneling, 1970s paneling.
Might be
There's
one
homemade.
somebody homemade. It should have a mirror right here that it don't have. So I guess there's a key to it. What is it? Oh, it said 1, 2, 3 blocks. Check that out. It's full of tools. How about that? $400 worth of tools in it. Yeah, look here. Best test indicator.
Best test.
And it's a good one. How about that? All right.
Well, good night, nurse. This is like a treasure chest. This thing's just stocked full of good, high-quality machinist tools. This old Starrett catalog looks like it might be from the 1960s or maybe the 1970s. It's pretty old. I'm guessing this is a homemade or shop-made machinist square. I've never seen anybody engine turn the blade like that. That's pretty cool. Check this out, a Starrett 12-inch hook rule. Now, I've got a little 6-inch Starrett hook rule, but I do not have a 12-inch. That'll be pretty doggone handy right there. Stainless steel protractor. There's always some protracting to do when you're building hot rods. A set of Starrett micrometers. Now these look a little rough, but they have a calibration sticker on them, so somebody calibrated them at one time. Looks like they were last calibrated in 2008. They're probably accurate, but they are a little beat up. I don't know if I'd trust them, but we'll check them with a gauge block and see how they read. Well, it looks like I'm all set for indicator tips, probably for the rest of my life. Looks like any one you want's there, and they're made in USA. Can't beat that. Now you guys remember when I was at the estate sale and I was digging through that pile of books on how to build a time machine. I ran up on this wiring book, and the first thing that caught my eye was the cool distributor cap on the cover. But then I noticed that the guy had took enough time to put a duct tape binding on the back of it and take black electrical tape and line all the edges of the pages to preserve it. And I thought if anybody went to that much work to preserve a magazine or a book, there must be some valuable information inside. So I picked it up out of the pile. It didn't have a price on it. I walked up to the girl who was checking people out, showed her the magazine, and handed her a $1 bill, and she said thanks, and I walked off. Also, while I was at the estate sale, you guys saw me digging through a tabletop full of tooling, and you probably wondered what I was digging for. Well, this whole table was covered with tooling, but a lot of it was broken drills and worn out end mills. And there were some end mills that were still in the packages, but they were all dirty and greasy, and I guess nobody was paying any attention to them. They thought they were all just junk. But I started looking at all those packages, and a lot of those were brand new end mills. They'd never been used before. And to beat all that, a lot of them were made in USA, brand new end mills. I think some of these brands of USA end mills you can't even buy anymore. And if you could, they'd be insanely expensive. Here's a made in USA reamer that looks like it might have been used one time. Looks almost new to me. I would say a 3/4 inch 4-flute single end mill probably cost 60, 70, 80 bucks back in the day. I don't even know if you can buy them made in USA anymore. Anyway, there's a lot of money in this little box right here, this little antifreeze jug or whatever it is I picked up to put all this stuff in. How about the world's largest countersink? Looks like somebody's done a weird sharpening job on it. I may have to fix that. But that is a hoss right there. There's what I'm looking for, made in USA. I tried to only grab the USA made ones and the brand new ones, or the ones that looked really good if they weren't completely brand new. Maybe ones that had just been used one time. Anyway, you're probably wanting to know how much this whole tub of cutters cost me. I took them up to the girl that was checking people out, and I set it down right in front of her so she could go through it and look at them really nice. And she just glanced at them. I said, "How much?" And she said, "What are you thinking?" And I said, "Well, I'm thinking 10 bucks, just trying to be funny." And she said, "That'll work, give it here." Now, I know this is going to sound crazy, but I kind of rough added all this up. If you had to buy all these and pay new prices, there's about $750 worth of cutters here. I bought them all for 10 bucks. Now, for the last couple of months, every time you guys see the 39 Mercury still sitting in the background in one of my videos, a few of you always make a comment, "Hey, Puddin' Creek, you think you'll ever sell that Mercury?" "Hey, Puddin' Creek, still haven't sold a Mercury, I see." Well, here's a news flash for you. I sold it 2 months ago, and these fine folks have just showed up today to pick it up. Now, the reason it's took them 2 months to pick it up is because they're from Minnesota, and the weather in Minnesota has not been nice. But it is now.
It's a pretty cool car. I was shocked that it didn't sell as fast
Well,
as
I kind of was too.
I figured it would sell the next day, just to be honest with you, after I listed it.
I did too. You always get the people that say, "Oh, you're not asking enough money," or if you were just
Right.
closer, I'd have it.
Well, you know, I had a bunch of comments that said it was cheap, it was a bargain, and I had all kinds of people messaging me wanting to trade me stuff for it, just tractors, boats.
Oh yeah.
You know, but I don't. Usually when we sell one, it sells in a day or two. They don't sit around long. I don't know if just because this one didn't roll in the back, it scared them away or what.
That might be part of it. I was, like I told you, my grandpa had a 39 Mercury, and I never. That was gone long before I was around.
Oh, okay.
And the 53 Ford that they traded it for was gone long before that too.
Oh, okay. Well, was his a sedan?
Yeah, it was a sedan. I'm not sure if it was 2 or 4 door because
right.
it's been 50 years since I've seen pictures of it.
Right. This one's got a great hood on it. The hood's really good, and the grill's pretty decent.
Yes, and you said most of the trim pieces were
Yeah,
here,
I haven't inventoried the trim, but there's a big bundle of trim
yeah.
there, so I'm assuming it's there.
Yep, that's.
I haven't actually inventoried it.
It looks like about what I.
Headlight buckets are solid. Usually they're rusted out.
Right. Yes.
I mean, you know, it's got a lot of issues, but I figured the hood and the grill's worth $1,000 easy, you know.
It should be. Yes. It took a little bit to talk the wife into it. She's always good for an adventure.
Well, what do you think now that you've seen it?
Well, 1,400 miles later, I think we're having a good time.
All right, good.
Part of the adventure.
Good, good.
Karen's got a 28 Chrysler that was her dad's that he got from his cousin, brand new.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like the 4th or 5th person that ever got to drive
Down
it.
Chrysler, that's a cool car. Is it a coupe or a
No,
sedan?
it's what is it?
Model 60, because it
It's a
could
Model
drive
62, but it's
Yeah.
got the,
sedan.
it's a 4-door sedan, but it's
Yeah.
got the padded roof. I can't think what they
okay.
call that now.
Oh, I don't remember.
Landau.
Landau, yeah.
Got the bars on the Landau
Yeah,
bars?
yeah.
Huh.
But that car was went into the Lake Superior when it was being shipped from Detroit to Duluth,
Right.
and it went in. It was in a shipwreck, so that was in the not in the bottom, but on the lake shore of Lake Superior.
Wow.
So it was kind of a really interesting story. And there's a museum up there that on my bucket list. I got to go see where the car came from.
So your family fished it out and restored it?
No, a gentleman that owned a lumber yard in Hoffman, Minnesota, he had ordered the car, and when he heard it went into the Lake Superior, he did not want it. So my dad's cousin bought it,
Right.
and it was delivered then to Hoffman, and then he was a single bachelor, and then my dad ended up buying it from him when I was 3 years old.
Huh.
So yeah, it's just always had been in the family. And
There was a whole ore ship that they converted to hauling this new venture of moving cars across Lake Superior from Detroit to Duluth.
Right.
And the maiden voyage, it blew up against the rocks at Copper Harbor, Michigan, and sank on the shoreline.
Wow.
And so some of them flew overboard, and some got in the hull that were frozen in. So they hired the locals to chop them all out, and they were supposed to all go back to Detroit for refurbishing, but this one I don't think ever went back to Detroit.
Wow.
And some of them disappeared in the
in people's barns.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that.
But there was 200 and some, I think, went
Yeah, there
down
was.
in that ship.
So you got a car with a big story behind it, don't you?
Yeah, and
That's
It
wild.
really
And I learned
does.
most of the story after Google and whatever, because her mom and dad would tell me the story, and it's
Right.
That's yeah, right, and they didn't know the whole story, but they
Right.
kept telling it. So then when the internet came out with the Google and everything, I started Googling, and there's quite a few stories on there about the Copper Harbor rocks, and
Right.
all the ships that have blown against there and
Pretty
sank
wild.
on it.
That's
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah. Well, it must have been pulled out by the fender, and the fender was welded back on, and you can see the welding marks and
So
such.
it was a 28 car, so all this happened in 1928 or somewhere there.
No,
Thereabouts?
that's
December
another
27, I think,
Oh,
or November. It was
26. It
Oh,
was
26.
it was 27 year of the car. So for me, I knew it as a 27, so I always get it mixed up. But what they did is then they sent them all back and refurbished them, and then they sent them out as 28s, which was just kind of weird.
Right.
So anyways, down the road, we got,
That's right. Thanksgiving 26 is when the
Yeah.
ship sank.
yeah,
Well, that was early, wasn't it? That's
Yeah.
kind of wild, ain't it?
Yeah.
1926.
yeah. So
On the evening of November 30th, 1926, a steamship named the City of Bangor was upbound from Detroit with a load of Chrysler and Whippet automobiles headed for Duluth, Minnesota, when she encountered a heavy gale and a snowstorm just off Eagle River. At some point in the storm, the ship's steam-powered steering mechanism stopped working, and the ship was overtaken by the waves. The seas, which had been sweeping green water over the Bangor's decks, kept the crew isolated for 24 hours. Finally, 18 of the deckload of Chryslers that were up on the upper deck were washed over into the water. Eventually, the ship washed up broadside on the rocky shore. The pounding waves quickly breached the Bangor's hull, and the freezing lake water soon extinguished her engines, leaving the vessel freezing cold. There were about 240 brand new 1926 Chrysler cars down below in the ship's hold, and so they were in excellent condition. When the water surrounding the steamship froze solid enough, a ramp was built out of snow and ice up to the ship's deck, and then the Chryslers were driven down the ramp and over the ice and into Copper Harbor. They were kept there until spring when the roads could be plowed open. Then they were taken to Calumet, where they were loaded on a Detroit train and shipped by rail back to Detroit to be restored and resold.
Shade grove, my little love, shade go, my little love, I'm bound to go away. When I was a little boy, I wanted a Barlow knife. But now I just want Shady Grove, say she'll be my wife. Shady Grove, my little love, Shady Grove, I say. Shady Grove, my little love, I'm bound to go away. Shady Grove, she was standing in the door with her shoes and stockings in her hand and her little bare feet on the floor. Shady Grove, my little love, Shady Grove, I say. Shady Grove, my little love, I'm bound to go.
When I saw this one, I saw it as a custom, lowered in the back, fender skirts, nose high. I saw it as a complete 50s custom.
Okay.
But that's the difference. That's how we get into these deals, is we see the cars as what they look like finished. That's how we visualize them.
Well, he's excited. He really is excited.
It's a cool car. It should be a bargain for what it is.
It is.
It's just the nose on these are just beautiful.
Henry Ford's son,
Yeah.
Etzel, designed this car.
Yeah.
And his dad did not like it.
Right.
He did not. He was mad at him about this. That's pretty cool. Pretty cool history.
They really were beautiful cars. The headlights are very pretty, and they're kind of streamlined like a Porsche or something, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And it's got demolition derby tires on it already.
Yes.
Ready to go.
Well, that's where they came from.
Oh, those are your tires.
No, friends of ours.
Oh.
Yeah.
Because your truck lid's going to hit here. Let me get the tractor on it and raise it up. Let's pull all that slack out of it. Okay. We'll need all the lift we can get.
Yeah.
I didn't see it getting caught. It was where I couldn't see.
Well, yeah, the other side missed it, so I didn't see this side either.
Used to go up, don't it?
That's probably about it for the loader, or will it?
No, it'll go up some more.
Okay.
I couldn't see it went up.
Yeah.
Needed to go up.
Let me hold that up.
them arms go, huh?
I'll let you put it where you want it, since you gotta haul it.
Okay. I might have to go just a little bit
You have
higher.
to pick it up a
Okay.
little bit.
See how it's sitting lower in the back than the front? That's how I envisioned it when it's done, but with fender skirts on it. Hell driver.
It's gonna, this will be quite interesting, actually. So you kind of
parking
have to
lot.
squeeze
Okay.
in.
Parking lot attendant.
Well, when we go on our trips, this is a table, and then this is the bed, but now we sleep in it, so
Okay.
this is, yeah.
Oh my
Anyways,
goodness.
oh, kind of
I love
embarrassed.
it. No.
But it's absolutely perfect for us. Yes, it's Velma B.
Great. It has the
With
refrigerator and a
stove
bathroom.
and yep, 2 closets.
Awesome. This is the cutest thing.
Thank you. These open up. I think they're locked, but yeah.
Outside storage.
Yep.
Sure would look nice on it, wouldn't it?
Yes, it would.
It's a neat car.
I've never sold a car to somebody and they show up with the original brochure. That's
Well, how about this then?
wow. What about that? 39 Mercury reference book. Huh. That's great. New 95 horsepower engine in it. That's what it had in it.
Yeah, we were pretty excited about this.
Yeah, these are good finds.
And
A long time ago, I got one. Yeah.
I got this. Our car club had an anniversary party last year,
Oh yeah.
so I thought you might
Oh,
need
okay,
something for on the
cool.
wall and
Oh sure.
a couple of can coolers.
All right. Thank
I
you very
bought from
much.
them and the Yogi's
All right.
catalog.
Yeah.
And then I might want this back someday, but
Oh,
I
okay.
thought that might interest you too. An old Washkowski's catalog from Chicago.
Really? Wow. What about that?
A lot of neat stuff that we thought was junk back then.
Right. Yeah.
But, and then I don't know if you got time while I'm
What?
finishing up. I went to a couple car shows years ago, one in Denver and one in Logan, Utah, back in the
Right.
80 or 81,
Yeah, let's look at it.
70s, and we had no room. We had an old schoolhouse next door, and we piled all the magazines in there. And then when my uncle inherited it, it started falling down, and so they hired the fire department to burn it all.
Really?
These were interesting too, but they were a whole different deal. They're making parts for themselves then, it seemed. In the 70s and 80s, there were companies making parts for it.
Exactly right. And the weird thing is the 50s and 40s hot rods and 60s hot rods have all come back in style, but the 70s hot rods have not. Everybody's
Yeah.
a lot of people still think the 70s hot rods look goofy, but I like them.
Oh yeah. But there's a lot of ingenuity goes into all of that too.
Yep.
They're just saving all the body work, I guess.
well, and it seems like it's the younger kids that are doing it, and that's pretty cool for them to work like that, think like that.
Yeah, these are cool pictures. Little yellow deuce. There's a cool one there too. Thank
been
you.
a pleasure to meet you.
It's been a pleasure to meet you guys.
Nice to meet you.
Now, if any of you guys recognize the logo on that key, put it in the comments. Let me know what brand box this is. In all the excitement at the estate sale, I thought it was an old, antique Gerstner box. But when we got it home and the excitement died down, little brother pointed out that it's not a Gerstner at all. Now that I'm kind of looking at it closer, I'm starting to question on whether it's even old at all. Maybe it's not old, it's just dirty. Now, if this had been a real Gerstner made in USA setup, this would have been about a, I don't know, $7,000 or $8,000 rig. The top box here would have been about $2,400, and the roll-around's a little over $5,000. But that's not what it is, that's for sure. This is nowhere near the quality of a USA-made Gerstner. Now, Gerstner also has an international line, which is made in Asia. So my first thought was this must be the import Gerstner brand boxes, but I looked at a lot of the pictures of those, and they really don't look like this box exactly. I don't think this is even the Gerstner import brand. So I was digging through the Google machine last night, and I think I might have figured out what it is. This right here looks closer than anything I've found. It's still not exactly like what I've got here, but it's pretty doggone close. So if this is what I have, it's sure not an $8,000 rig. The top box is $287 with free shipping, and the roll-around cabinet is $476 plus $200 freight. So this is more like a $1,000 rig is what it is. Now, I only paid $400, so I guess I'm doing fine on the money. And I got all these additional accessories inside with it, some pretty expensive indicators and stuff, plus all the V-blocks and setup blocks and stuff that I didn't even add up. So I came out fine on the money part of it. The only problem is I still do not own a Gerstner. Oh well, me and little brother, we had a large time at the estate sale. I mean, that was a lot of fun, even if it didn't turn out to be a Gerstner. I almost got whomped in the head by somebody's meemaw. I mean, where are you going to get a story like that without going to an estate sale? Speaking of good stories, we sure enjoyed having those folks from Minnesota here. that come to get the Mercury, and we really enjoyed the story they told us about the shipwreck and the 1927 or 28 Chryslers. I mean, that's the best story I've heard in years. I really enjoyed that one. As we leave you today, I'm going to leave you with a little footage of them driving their 1927 or 8 Chrysler that was at the bottom of Lake Superior. I mean, that's pretty amazing. Now, if y'all enjoyed the show today, leave us a comment and let us know. If you want to get yourself some Puddin' Creek merch, just head on over to puddinCreek.com. And as always, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already.